Dan Chinzi couldn't help but worry. Has this person already passed out? He lightly poked him twice, and found that he still responded. Dan Chinzi breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness he hasn't passed out. As long as he hasn't passed out, there is still hope for him. He pulled out a gourd with just one swipe. He aimed at the mouth of the fortune teller and poured down the gourd of spiritual herb, filling his stomach with a ton. The fortune teller's body began to recover at a visible speed, and his originally charred condition also improved, gradually regaining a human appearance. Shortly after, Fang Wu woke up and got up, realizing that the fortune teller, who had not died, quickly turned to thank Dan Chinzi and said that although this time was not a complete success, he would be ready for the next battle. But it looks like you weren't roasted. Your eyes, senior brother, are you blind? But the fortune teller thinks it's no big deal. He just wants to get back into the oven. But Dan Chinzi's Dan pill is almost depleted. He feels that if he goes back in to refine himself now, it's like walking to his death. The fortune teller reassured him that even if he goes bankrupt, he will not owe him any money. Dan Chinzi immediately responded as soon as he heard this sentence. That's great. It's a total of 93,800 spiritual stones. I will go. It's so expensive. Although I know that Dan Chinzi is very deceitful. But this price really startled Fang Wu. Fang Wu was also afraid to continue refining, fearing that if fiery golden eyes was not successfully refined, his family's fortune would be depleted first. So he said, I will come back to cultivate after saving enough money. Just as he took a few steps, he bumped into the wall with a bang. Oh, senior brother, the door is over there. Dan Chinzi couldn't help but remind him as he looked at his miserable appearance. Fang Wu finally fumbled his way to the door, only to bump into the approaching Lin Fan with a loud thud. How do you walk? Are you blind? Angry Lin Fan raised his head and took a look. Oh my goodness. He really doesn't have eyes. Just as he was scared speechless by the person in front of him. Fang Wu recognized him by his voice. Isn't this Princess Saintis? Thanks to Princess Saintis' guidance, I will definitely be able to refine the fiery golden eyes and complete my sacred art soon. When I achieve that, I will serve Princess Saintis wholeheartedly. Lin Fan looked at the black-clad figure in front of him, who was talking to himself, and quickly responded a few times. He watched Fang Wu leave, and finally breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Fan, with a puzzled expression, inquired about who the person that just left was. Dan Chinzi explained that the fortune teller had come here to refine the fiery golden eyes. After hearing this, Lin Fan was greatly shocked. What? The one just now was a fortune teller. He thought of the elegant look of the fortune teller that Chi Amethyst showed him before. That person and the burnt black thing today are not even close to being associated with each other. He recalled the fiery golden eyes Lin Fan he mentioned just now and exclaimed, Chi Amethyst, you've caused a lot of harm. After accompanying the wealthy woman's sister Nana around the streets, it was Lin Fan's turn to go online and go to Yunnan to play with the wealthy woman Chi Amethyst. Considering that it was Chi Amethyst's first time flying, Lin Fan had already prepared everything before they swapped bodies. Looking at the crowded line next to them, Chi Amethyst, who was boarding the plane with Joe Nana, remarked curiously, Why is no one queuing up on this side? They all went over there to line up, not knowing that Sister Nana had already made all the arrangements. The two of them walked on the VIP pathway laid with a red carpet, with dedicated staff guiding them through security check one-on-one. When passing through the security check, the body is male but the soul is female. Chi Amethyst blushed with embarrassment. She bashfully let the male security check her body and pass through security. They were then taken to the luxurious VIP waiting room, where she saw numerous exquisite and delicious desserts displayed inside. Chi Amethyst, a foodie, was drooling at the sight of the delicious desserts. She quickly ordered a few to eat. Seeing Chi Amethyst enjoying herself so much, Joe Nana didn't want to disturb her and suggested going to get a manicure instead. Chi Amethyst has never come into contact with the immortal cultivation world and was curious to tag along to have a look. Wow! She looked at Jo Nana's nails, which were painted brightly, and the dazzling fake nails on the table. For the first time seeing this thing called Chi Amethyst, she was very tempted to try it. Jo Nana jokingly asked her if she wanted to give it a try. She stared at the colorful pile of nails, lost in thought. Is this considered women's accessories? The shop assistant explained. This thing is usually made by women. After hearing that this also counts as women's accessories, Chi Amethyst disappointedly gave up the idea of getting her nails done. Alas, too bad Lin Fan doesn't allow herself to dress as a woman, otherwise she would have adorned her entire hand. With a buzzing roar, the plane took off into the sky. Chi Amethyst, who was sitting on the plane, rarely did anything mischievous this time, silently marveling at the power of technology. Watching Jo Nana, who was suffering from ringing in the ears, Chi Amethyst took out a piece of bubble gum from her pocket. Jo Nana looked at the little thing in amazement. It turned out to be a thoughtful gift specially prepared by Lin Fan. Chi Amethyst explained, "Chewing this will make you feel better." Jo Nana sighed. "I haven't eaten this thing much since I grew up." As she spoke, she even performed bubble blowing. Chi Amethyst, who hadn't seen bubble blowing before, was immediately attracted by it. Seeing Chi Amethyst's curious expression, Jo Nana quickly understood what was going on. "Haha, let me teach you how to blow bubbles, little sister." Time came to mealtime amidst the laughter and joy. When it comes to eating, Chi Amethyst is no longer sleepy. Looking at the dazzling menu, frequent flyer Jo Nana ordered her familiar set meal. Chi Amethyst pondered over these dishes for a while. Only children would have trouble choosing. "I want them all." This made both the person ordering and the person serving the food fall silent. After a journey on their taste buds, the two finally arrived at their destination. Jo Nana spoke up. "The driver is already waiting for us at exit C. Let's go to the hotel to drop off our things, and then meet our contact in the afternoon." Following a wealthy woman is indeed good. Just landed, and everything has been arranged. Whether Lin Fan's immortal cultivation's door can be opened will depend on this trip. I know we will be discussing business later. Chi Amethyst has changed into a handsome suit. "Lin Fan, are you ready yet?" The contact person has already arrived downstairs. She just changed into a suit, and Jo Nana came knocking on the door. "Sorry, it took some time to change clothes." Chi Amethyst pushed open the door. Chi Amethyst blushed when she saw Jo Nana standing outside the door in a handsome suit, and she stood frozen in place. She unconsciously blurted out, "You look really good." This praise made Jo Nana blush. She thought that she was being praised for looking good. She happily left with Chi Amethyst, thinking that Chi Amethyst was impressed by her. But in reality, Chi Amethyst was admiring her suit, thinking it was really nice. She couldn't help but compare in her heart, thinking that if she wore the same outfit, she would definitely look even better. After witnessing Chi Amethyst's abilities, she became very interested in Chi Amethyst. After getting on the elevator, Jo Nana suggested, "You want to obtain a large number of raw stones. I want to expand the jade factory. I have connections and money. You have the technical skills. Why don't we collaborate? I can invest in your technology expertise and give you some shares. What do you think?" Although the conditions offered by Jo Nana are very enticing, how could the proud saintess be willing to work for someone else? But think about it carefully. What she said makes sense. Currently, if Chi Amethyst wants to obtain a large amount of resources, this is the quickest way. Therefore, she decided to discuss with Lin Fan before giving a reply to Jo Nana. Jo Nana is looking forward to her bringing more surprises this time. After leaving, the two of them saw that the driver had been waiting outside early. "Where are we going to discuss business?" Jo Nana asked. The driver hesitated before saying, "Let's go directly to the mining site." The boss encountered some trouble and couldn't get away. Both of them were very surprised to hear this news. What on earth is going on? The driver explained that the business at the stall has not been very good, and it has also been targeted by a few troublemakers. Jo Nana's body shook with alarm. What? We are going to be acquired before we even discuss the business terms? It turns out that all connections in the jade industry are referrals. If they get acquired this time, their trip would have been in vain. They can only hope that the acquisition won't happen so soon. Two groups of people are gathered at the quarry. The hoodlums have already come over to prepare for the acquisition. The leader arrogantly demanded the boss to hand over the land quickly. If you don't sell it today, you will all die. One of the henchmen stepped forward to advise, but was hit square in the head by a flying brick. Who do you think you are to dare to interrupt? Little Gargas felt that today's situation was already in the bag. Another person shouted while holding a brick. I dare anyone to say they won't sell it today. He was forcing them just as they had finished loading halfway. He was interrupted by a flying kick and said, We're not selling it. As I said. Chi Amethyst was a handsome hero who showed up and proclaimed, Only I can show off here. This annoyed little Gargas, who exclaimed, Who do you think you are? You say it's not for sale, so it's not for sale? Jo Nana also ran up anxiously, afraid that she might hurt someone badly. Chi Amethyst asked, So as long as their acquisition fails, it's enough? Seeing the sudden appearance of the two people, the quarry boss looked baffled. The driver arrived late at this time and explained that the two of them were here to discuss business. Little Gargas's boss is upset. How dare you touch my things? I think you don't want to live. He signaled to his henchmen to start fighting. Chi Amethyst originally wanted to reason with them, but since they came looking for trouble, there is no other choice but to fight. Little Gargas rushed over with weapons in hand and immediately struck at her. She leaped into the air. She knocked down three with a roundhouse kick. Little Gargas grabbed one with her right hand and threw them into the crowd. A sweep kick with her left leg knocked down a group. With just a few moves, she quickly dealt with a group of little Gargas, sitting dominantly on top of the pile, looking down at the remaining boss. How do you want to negotiate now? After witnessing Chi Amethyst's skills, the lead boss was so scared he almost wet his pants. The fierce scar-faced person now appeared as meek as a puppy. He came over with a flattering face wanting to humbly acquire 60 million. Miss Wong couldn't bear to let her brothers continue to suffer with her, and she was in a struggle. Boss, I can't sell it. If the venue is sold to him, my brothers won't be able to make it anymore. I strongly oppose to it when I think about how they have been suppressed by this group over the years. Besides, we still have a batch of goods left. What if we can produce some good stuff? Scarface sneered and said, Talking about this, I'm not sleepy at all. What if? Maybe the stuff we produce won't even be affordable for me to buy a pack of cigarettes. He became even more excited as he spoke, kicking Scarface in the face and saying, 60 million is already a discounted price. If the product turns out to be a pile of garbage, even if they give me the whole operation for free, I won't want it. Look at this little Gargas, acting so arrogantly. The anger in Chi Amethyst's heart ignited. Miss Wong's heart was increasingly swayed by Scarface's words. She said, We can't let the brothers suffer together anymore. Over the years, even if they deliver the last batch of goods, it won't be enough to make up for the losses. Director Lin, Director Zhou, I'm sorry, you might have made the trip for nothing this time. Seeing this situation, Scarface is already planning to go back and open a bottle of champagne. Seeing that Chi Amethyst is extremely skilled, he is afraid that if Chi Amethyst gets involved, he will disrupt things again. He persuades, Don't interfere with my business. Wait for me to settle this matter, and we can still do business together. Chi Amethyst thought to herself, Finally, it's my turn to show up. She had been unhappy with that scar-faced person for a long time. She started by smiling and saying, We came this time specifically to talk business. We will discuss it with whoever is willing. Scarface thought he had already secured a deal, feeling very happy. However, Chi Amethyst switched gears and said, But I don't want to do business with people I dislike. What a pity. You are exactly the person I dislike. This statement infuriated Scarface, and who said that Director Wong's place is finished. This remark startled everyone. Everyone saw Chi Amethyst's confident look, as well as his extraordinary abilities that Director Wong has trusted. Now, she could only make the best of a bad situation. I saw Chi Amethyst take a step forward and, upon reaching the pile of rocks, took a look. Immediately, she selected a large rock. She skillfully drew the cutting line. Scarface is not at ease, afraid that they might actually produce some good stuff. He asked his brother, and his brother said that he estimated it to be worth at most 10 million last time. Not to mention, that piece of stone doesn't look good at all. It's obvious at first glance that it's just a hunk of junk. Upon hearing this, Scarface regained his confidence and laughed proudly. Ha ha ha, kid, you better think it over. You won't find this shop once you leave this place. Chi Amethyst didn't even bother to deal with him, and just wanted to get it over with quickly, hitting his face hard. Hurry up and start the car, just follow the line I drew. Director Wong, who has never seen her gamble before, is a bit anxious, waiting with a worried expression. And Sister Nana behind has relaxed. She believes that Chi Amethyst must be fine. With a scarred face full of smiles, Chi Amethyst remained calm in Director Wong's worried expression. The chainsaw started working with a buzzing sound. It is green, dazzling and bright. It's really outstanding. This time's quality is better than last time. It's an imperial green. Just look at this dazzling green light. Originally confident Slippery Sun, but then old water sprayed out in one breath. The script is not written like that, is it? Director Wong finally understands why Slippery Sun is so eager for this scene, but using this opportunity. She also noticed Chi Amethyst's outstanding qualities. Even wealthy Joe Nana, who is by his side, trusts him implicitly. This time I really hit the jackpot. Thinking of this, she quickly went to thank the two of them. It's my honor to work with you. The two exchanged a knowing glance. So, happy collaboration. Joe Nana reached out to shake hands. And the repeatedly defeated Slippery Sun is not giving up. He changed his previous arrogant attitude and wants to talk about the price again. The price has now become 150 million, plus settling the previous account. Seeing him being so shameless, Director Wong also gave him an unpleasant look and immediately ordered him to leave. She also needs to express her gratitude to the two of them, but after the deal is done, Chi Amethyst does not intend to stay long. Director Wong mentioned that he knew of a very delicious restaurant and said that they serve the freshest mushroom feast there. If you don't ask for directions, you won't be able to find it. Upon hearing the words, mushroom feast, Chi Amethyst couldn't move another step. One of the reasons he came to Yunnan was to eat mushrooms. How could he possibly pass up a meal that was served right to his mouth? Therefore, he immediately agreed. He saw them happily heading towards the meal. Slippery Sun is very unwilling to accept the failure of the acquisition. He secretly came up with another plan in his heart. In the restaurant, Joe Nana and Director Wong were fervently discussing business, and they had already clinked glasses to celebrate their deal. On the side, Chi Amethyst had been waiting for the dishes so long that the flowers were about to wither. Finally, with a click, the steaming mushroom feast was finally served. There is a delicious and tender termitomizes chicken soup, tasty and crispy dry bolete mushrooms, braised beef liver with blue staining bolete that melts in your mouth, and other fresh mushroom dishes. This makes Chi Amethyst salivate, ready to taste after scooping a spoonful, but suddenly stopped. It turns out that the waiter is testing the sample first. This way, they will know how the poisoning occurred if there is poisoning later. Why do people still eat wild mushrooms then? Of course, for the freshness, Director Wong joked. But if cooked properly, there shouldn't be any issue. Chi Amethyst included a slice. She put it in her mouth with an uneasy feeling. After the mushroom entered her mouth, Chi Amethyst's eyes also shed uncontrollable saliva. What a delicious taste on earth! 10,000 words of praise came to her mind. Even the rich lady ate such delicious and sweet mushrooms for the first time. It seems that Director Wong made the right choice this time. Everyone ate with smiles on their faces. They completely did not notice the bald head outside the window. Slippery's son was gritting his teeth as he watched the scene. The duck that was in hand was intercepted by Chi Amethyst. He was so angry that he felt like his hair would grow out. He intentionally had his younger brother switch the meal with uncooked mushrooms. In his mind, he had already planned how to torture them severely after they passed out. They first tied up the two little girls, then disabled the hands and feet of the one with the surname Lin. They scratched his face to see how he would pretend after that. After they finished their fantasy, they heard movement at the door. With two bangs sound, they arrogantly kicked open the door. "Ha ha, Wang Meiyu, this mushroom is delicious. Isn't it? What's going on?" The kid eats the most, but he's still bouncing around and full of energy. Chi Amethyst and him locked eyes awkwardly for a moment. The two of them were so scared that their pants almost fell off. They couldn't speak properly. Chi Amethyst understood what was going on and picked up the steaming sand pot. The two little rascals realized something was wrong and immediately ran off. With a swish, Chi Amethyst teleported in front of the two of them. "Here, try these delicious mushrooms," she said, pressing down on the bald guy and his little brother's heads, making the mushrooms pour into their mouths. The two of them were immediately covered in burns and suffered from a poison buff. After dealing with the incident, Chi Amethyst immediately called 120 emergency services. She was fine, just a little tired after a busy day. Since it was about time to switch back, she simply laid down and waited for Lin Fan to return. In the immortal cultivation world, after sending off the fortune teller of the coal, Lin Fan finally had the opportunity to have a good talk with Xianxia. "Have you prepared the things I asked for?" Seeing Lin Fan's mysterious appearance, Xianxia understood. Presumably, what the saintess wanted must be this item. After saying that, he ran to fetch it. "I guessed right. It really was the case. I didn't expect to stumble upon this incident by sheer coincidence." He started to wonder what tricks Master had up his sleeve. Could it be that he wanted me to use Dan refining to perform some chemical reactions to amuse Master? Or is it that Xianxia has actually successfully refined the void refining Dan? Then my big account will become the void refining stage. At this rate, dominating the immortal cultivation world is just around the corner. As I was thinking, Xianxia has already brought the stuff over. The magic weapon you customized is exactly the same as the blueprint you drew. Customized magic weapon? Lin Fan took a look. Oh my goodness. It turned out to be a pistol. Lin Fan, who received the goods, couldn't calm down for a long time. This is such a sensational move. Those who don't know might think she is the time traveler. Just as he was feeling emotional, a golden light flashed from a distance. The dazzling golden light almost blinded Lin Fan. He cursed while flying over, and only then did Lin Fan realize that it was the same Saint again. Only to see Saint activating all his special light effects while still finding time to run his mouth at Lin Fan, who spends all day not focusing on his studies and hanging out with the second-rate Xianxia. The exams are approaching, and you are still wandering around aimlessly. Lin Fan is curious as to how he knows where I am. Saint saw Lin Fan holding a package in his hand, and then humiliated him. Knowing his inferiority, he placed his hopes on these petty tricks. Lin Fan just wanted to argue cunningly. Saint immediately turned up the special effects to the maximum and roared, "What kind of order is this?" Lin Fan's eyes were flashed again, and he thought in his heart, "Previously it was Yukiana, now it's Saint. Do people in the immortal cultivation world like to flash others' eyes like this?" Saint continued to angrily rebuke, "With your talent, it's true that you've come a long way, but you are still far from reaching my level." Lin Fan, seeing him come all the way just to confront him, using such exaggerated special effects to attract attention, suddenly realized, "Could it be that he doesn't like me?" Lin Fan criticized, "Is this the kind of attention-grabbing tactic you use? Are you a primary school student?" While he silently criticized, Saint scolded again, "If you want to call off the engagement, it's up to you. But as long as you have the engagement, you cannot disgrace my family." Then he immersed himself in reminiscence of several years ago. Chi Amethyst was picked up by Master from the lower realm. For the sake of Chi Amethyst's cultivation resources, Master brought her back. He secretly arranged for Chi Amethyst to be engaged to the saint. The Emperor of the Primal Heaven looks down on Chi Amethyst's background. What benefits are there in betrothing my son, Saint, to her given his talents? Master spares no effort to appoint them as protectors of the immortal terrace. So, the tragic fate between Chi Amethyst and Saint was officially sealed at this moment. Back to now, Saint continues to insult. If you want to be close to me, then you better cultivate honestly. Stop being idle all day long. Faced with Lin Fan's recent behavior as a scoundrel, Saint strongly condemns it. After a long time, Lin Fan finally understood. It turns out that the elders arranged a marriage without his consent. But what does it have to do with Lin Fan if you are looking for Chi Amethyst? Lin Fan thought of the scene where he would enter the bridal chamber with Saint, just as his eyes, which had just been stabbed blind, were hurt again. Immediately, he angrily protested, "You foul remnant!" Saint had never seen such a bullying Chi Amethyst before, nor had she ever heard such vulgar language. She was shocked and stunned. You actually use foul language." After Saint had been talking for so long, it was now Lin Fan's turn to speak. He blushed and shouted in embarrassment. "Stop babbling here. Who do you think you are? What era is it, still believing in traditional childhood betrothals? Furthermore, the marriage hasn't happened yet. I simply do not agree. So what if I want to call off the wedding?" Saint said that even my father has never scolded me. Today is the first time I have been scolded so harshly by Lin Fan. Saint has successfully angered me. Immediately, he drew his sword. The enraged Saint actually attempted to draw his sword to kill me. Immediately, I pulled out my handgun. "Sorry, sir. Times have changed." Lin Fan's insults to Saint seemed to cause more damage to him than the wrath of the heavens. After fiercely attacking the arrogant Saint, Lin Fan did not stop his outburst. He angrily pointed out, "The immortal cultivation world has always respected strength. Who says the first sequence belongs to you? Is your name written on it? Compared to the prestige of your crappy family, my lifelong happiness is the most important. Who wants to marry a show-off like you?" Lin Fan scolded angrily, while making a friendly gesture at the same time. Lin Fan's verbal attack even implicated the family's reputation, causing Saint's patience to be completely worn out. Originally, he only wanted to advise you on your words and actions, but now I have changed my focus. He then pulled out his weapon and pointed it at Lin Fan, stating that there was no need to wait for a comparison, and that he would make you see the difference between us now. Lin Fan directly pulled out the brand new pistol and confronted Saint. "Who's afraid of you? I will take down this first sequence." Both of them were seen holding their weapons, with special effects emanating from them. No one made a move first. The sky filled with golden and purple light attracted many onlookers. Seeing the artifact in Lin Fan's hand that he had never seen before, Saint's heart stirred with some emotions. Although he couldn't sense any spiritual power from this artifact, his intuition told him that this thing was quite dangerous. Lin Fan looked at him not making a move and started a new round of output. "Yes, I do want to call off the engagement, but you don't want to marry me either, right? Then why don't you dare to bring it up?" This questioning soul struck at Saint's heart. Lin Fan took advantage of the situation and followed up, saying he didn't want to get married but also didn't reject it. He insisted on making things difficult for me wherever I tried to call off the engagement. "You are just someone without principles, cowardly like a mouse." "Scumbag." "Scumbag?" These words left Saint dumbfounded, standing still in place. Lin Fan seized the opportunity to attack him mentally. By doing this, he wanted to intimidate Saint, first breaking through his defenses. "You always see yourself as extraordinary, but you know my whereabouts so clearly and deliberately come to belittle and mock me. Could it be you're afraid, huh?" This sentence stabbed into Saint's heart like a sharp sword. His mental defenses have been completely broken through. He has been overwhelmed by Lin Fan's momentum, coupled with the increasing sense of dread of the unknown power of the artifact in his heart. His vision gradually blurred. He kept denying the fact that he was afraid. At this moment, Lin Fan followed up disdainfully. Feeling uneasy? Trying to confirm your status by humiliating me? Lin Fan looked at him contemptuously and said, Ah, this will only make you appear cowardly and pretentious, a fake tough guy. This sentence became the last straw that crushed him. Saint's emotions and facial expressions have completely collapsed. He has reached a state of uncontrollable rage. Just at that moment, there was a bang of a gunshot. Lin Fan looked at the smoking muzzle in his hand. Oh no! It actually misfired? Saint won't be killed by me like this, right? After swapping bodies with the saintess from the immortal cultivation world, I almost killed her fiancé. I wanted to scare Saint with a gun, but he only wants to defeat Lin Fan with words instead of weapons. He was so nervous that the handgun in his hand accidentally went off, and there was a loud bang. Saint's body swayed a few times. All the special effects were knocked off, done for. Will the prestigious saint of the immortal cultivation world really be killed by me like this? But he didn't see anything shot out after firing the gun. Could it be that this gun doesn't need bullets? After the smoke cleared, Saint was still standing there in silence. Lin Fan saw that he was unharmed and remained blankly in place with no reaction. He felt that this was a perfect opportunity to escape. When not slipping away now, then when? Slipped away, slipped away. I'll go back and ask Chi Amethyst how to use this gun properly. He left only Saint standing foolishly trembling in place. He realized that due to the gunshot just now, he felt for the first time like he was being targeted by the Grim Reaper. Although he was physically unharmed, this feeling struck his soul. At that moment, it was as if his soul briefly confronted death. Could it be some kind of curse? Saint suddenly thought of this at that moment. Lin Fan made an internationally recognized friendly gesture at that time. Since then, he began to feel uneasy psychologically. He believed that Lin Fan must have placed a curse on him. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He was about to continue berating Lin Fan when he realized that the person had already disappeared without a trace. This incident taught him a lesson today. As a dignified Violet Palace saint, he was actually thrown off balance by a curse and artifact, disturbing his Taoist heart. He clenched his fist and thought to himself, It seems that my Taoist heart is not strong enough. After Lin Fan returned to the Violet Palace and blinked, he found himself in a strange environment. When he turned around, he realized that he was in a hospital. Lin Fan immediately thought of something bad and anxiously pulled back the covers to check. When he saw that little Lin Fan was still there, his hanging heart finally came down. Just then, the phone on the table rang. Chi Amethyst explained the process of the negotiation and the poisoning incident that later occurred at the dinner table. However, this amount of poison has no effect on his current physical condition. Chi Amethyst told him not to worry. Anyway, the issue of the spiritual stone has been perfectly resolved. Lin Fan sighed in admiration, saying, Indeed, the saintess easily accomplished what others find difficult to achieve. Suddenly, Zhou Nana beside them stirred to life. Ah! There are little people taking off my clothes. Zhou Nana, who is poisoned by mushrooms, is fighting with the imaginary little people, pulling her own clothes. Lin Fan, confused by the situation, hurried to stop Sister Nana. Be calm. Don't take it off anymore, otherwise it will be too late. You can't take it off anymore. The playfulness of the two attracted the intervention of the little guardian, who curiously asked, How come everyone is poisoned by mushrooms except you? It was then that Lin Fan realized that Zhou Nana was acting this way because of mushroom poisoning. He couldn't help but feel embarrassed and said, Chi Amethyst is really risking my life for food. At this time, a familiar voice suddenly came from the bed next door. I Feng. No. Lin Fan pulled open the curtain and took a look. A man with a pale face lay weak on the hospital bed, murmuring, I Feng. Don't. Upon closer inspection, isn't this police officer Wu? How did he end up here? At this moment, police officer Wu is still in a dreamland. The illusion has taken him back to the time when he was an undercover agent. Inside the bar, he saw a familiar face next to the underworld boss. The man smiled at him. The scene, which was full of laughter and joy, turned into people wielding knives and swords to fight each other in the next second. Afterwards, the two heavily injured individuals helped each other away. The scene changed again, and only the man was seen holding a bullet in his hand. "This time I owe you," he said. "Consider this our agreement." Another dizzy spell hit him, and he found himself in the scene where the two were being chased and on the run. It seemed like they were about to be caught. Police officer Wu was pushed by the man with yellow hair. He fell into the sea, but he also remembered who this man was. The feeling of weightlessness and grief startled Wu Zhengwu awake. "Hai Feng!" Wu Zhengwu shouted out. Awakened by the startle, he tightly grabbed Lin Fan's shirt. Seeing him so tense, Lin Fan comforted him with a soothing word. Police officer Wu only then realized that the surrounding environment was somewhat unfamiliar. How could Lin Fan be next to him? He only found out after inquiring. He was also poisoned by mushrooms and is currently in the hospital. He was surprised to see Lin Fan, who had also eaten the mushrooms, jumping around lively. "You are indeed extraordinary," he couldn't help but exclaim. Lin Fan was puzzled and asked, "Who is this Hai Feng you've been mentioning?" Police officer Wu explained that the last time Lin Fan had his fortune told, it was done by his comrade, Hai Feng. After Hai Feng mysteriously disappeared, he returned to investigate the cause of Hai Feng's death. Because it was Chi Amethyst who did the fortune-telling, Lin Fan had no memory of it. Afraid of being questioned further, he pretended to be ignorant. However, he did not inquire further about the fortune-telling incident. Instead, he inquired about how he had met you here. Lin Fan explained that he and Zhou Nana came here to discuss business. As a result, he was ambushed by an opponent named Slippery Sun, ate poisonous mushrooms, and ended up in the hospital upon hearing the name Slippery Sun. Police officer Wu finally understood that his poisoning after eating at Hai Feng was related to Slippery Sun, who was part of a drug trafficking gang. Police officer Wu had hoped to trace some clues from him, but unfortunately. When it comes to this, Lin Fan has a solution. Just go and ask directly now. When they arrived at Slippery Sun's bed, seeing the two of them having seizures and foul mouths, Lin Fan and police officer Wu genuinely felt sorry for them. Lin Fan felt embarrassed and thought, although he knew they were in a pitiful state, Chi Amethyst was a bit too harsh on them. I don't know if he can still speak in this situation. Police officer Wu came up with a way at this time. After whispering to Lin Fan for a while, he stood Slippery Sun up and turned off all the lights in the room. He began to question him. "Sun Daquan, what crime do you think you have committed?" "Cough, Sun Daquan, you are now in the interrogation room. Be honest. Where is your boss?" Slippery Sun, though a bit dizzy, not completely out of it, still retains some clarity. Knowing this is a hospital, refuses to say no matter what. Police officer Wu couldn't take it anymore. "Are you pretending to be poisoned, kid?" Lin Fan suddenly thought of a way to make police officer Wu step aside. He stomped on the table with a loud bang and shouted, "Sun Daquan still dares to talk back to me. I think you are asking for trouble." He thought Sun Daquan would be scared of him after the lesson from Chi Amethyst, so he shouted fiercely, "My patience is limited." The confused Slippery Sun really widened his eyes and looked around. Lin Fan looked so similar to his father, who passed away many years ago. Looking at their appearance, the two of them exchanged a smile and decided to fight fire with fire. So Lin Fan replied, "Yes, good boy, what's the matter?" Upon hearing this, Slippery Sun couldn't hold back anymore. He immediately knelt down, hugged tightly, crying and shouted, "Dad! I miss you so much, Wu-Wu." After Slippery Sun mistook him for his father, Lin Fan decided to take advantage of the situation and pretended to be his dad to gather information. After obtaining information from Slippery Sun, Lin Fan and Wu Shengwa entered a deep mountain forest. Arriving in such a remote place, Wu Shengwa was a bit skeptical if he was being deceived. Lin Fan confidently said, "I am his real father, he wouldn't deceive me." But talk aside, laugh aside, Lin Fan helped Wu Shengwa to come here, and he was already very grateful to him. The following dangers will not allow Lin Fan, this ordinary person, to intervene. Upon hearing this, Lin Fan felt underestimated and immediately retorted, "Police Officer Wu, you should know that I am not ordinary. Moreover, I have already offended Slippery Sunday. They definitely won't let me off easily." Although Chi Amethyst dealt with Slippery Sun this time, the danger lies in the power behind him. This time, he came to take care of them all. Besides, he's not a big deal. He is mainly afraid that Zhou Nana will be in danger, so he must resolve this matter this time in order to feel at ease. Moreover, with so many criminal forces, there must be plenty of bounties, right? Thinking of this, the money-hungry Lin Fan couldn't help but drool. There isn't a bounty on this matter after all. But once it's done, I'll definitely reward you generously. If there's any danger, you run first and don't worry about me. Wu Shengwa doesn't want to make the same mistake again. He asked Lin Fan to stay safe. They found it's really hard to find a den in this big mountain. After walking for a while, Lin Fan suddenly had a premonition. At that moment, he pointed to a narrow winding path beside him and said, "I feel like it's right here." A moment of silence in the air. Wu Shengwa embarrassedly said, "Can you really feel it?" It turned out that, after using Lin Fan's body for divination several times at Chi Amethyst, his body underwent some subtle changes. He always felt that he should go this way. Instead of circling around like a headless fly, Wu Shengwa decided to trust Lin Fan's feelings and plunged into the thick bushes. Just as he was about to step down, Lin Fan's spider sense suddenly got triggered. With a sudden jerk, he quickly grabbed him, leaving Wu Shengwa puzzled. Lin Fan said with a serious tone and a cold sweat, "You can't go this way." His golden eyes spotted it. This path is very ominous. Wu Shengwa was confused by Lin Fan, who would say he could walk one moment and then say he couldn't the next. Unwilling to be fooled, Shengwa pulled away and prepared to walk over again, but at that moment, he heard rustling in the bushes behind him. The two turned their heads and were startled to see a large wild boar. Pig Brother was upset when he was disturbed from his peaceful dream, so he charged towards them furiously. The two hurriedly dodged. Pig Brother, unable to stop, charged into that dangerous place. With a loud bang, a massive explosion sent Pig Brother flying. The two were terrified it turned out to be a landmine. Luckily, Wu Shengwa was just stopped by Lin Fan. This landmine should be a trap set by drug traffickers. Lin Fan indeed made the right call. The trembling Wu Shengwa, who survived the robbery, cautiously grabbed onto Lin Fan. "Brother, I'll rely on you to lead the way from now on. I'll follow your lead all the way." And so, the two embarked on this highly dangerous journey. After receiving the news this morning, we entered the mountain. They walked from daytime until dusk. Lin Fan seemed to have scouted ahead, as if he had been here before. "Be careful, there are traps here. Watch out, there is a cave over there. Mind the falling rocks on this path." He managed to avoid all these traps one by one. Finally, when passing a large pit, Lin Fan couldn't help but ask, "Brother Wu, why are you so persistent in risking your life for Wang Haifeng? If it's because he died on duty, wouldn't reporting it to the police eventually lead to the truth coming out?" Upon hearing this question, Wu Xingwa's expression became solemn and sorrowful. He fell silent for a moment, then whispered in sorrow as he reminisced. 5 years ago, when he was sent to Yunnan as an undercover agent, one day when he went to submit intelligence, just as he was about to drop the letter in the mailbox, suddenly, someone grabbed his hand. Thinking he was discovered, he immediately broke free and drew his gun, ready to fire. The blond man immediately raised his hands and surrendered upon seeing the situation. Then he said a string of strange words. "The ice here has not frozen solid yet, so do not step on it. Wu Shengwa was surprised that he actually knew the secret code. After staying silent for a while, he also figured out the secret code. And he safely put away the gun. Only heard that the man reached out his hand and said, "This point has been exposed. I was sent by the higher-ups to assist you. My name is Wang Haifeng." Wu Shengwa also reached out his hand, and the two of them shook hands and got to know each other like this. Just at that moment, Wang Haifeng heard some commotion behind him. The two of them panicked and turned to look, only to find a bald person eavesdropping behind them. Wang Haifeng quickly fired a shot with a loud bang. Beautiful headshot. At this time, Wu Shengwa finally realized that the gun in his hand was already in his own hand at some point. He learned that he was also targeted by the gang leader. More than one person came to catch the traitor. Wang Haifeng pointed the gun at Wu Shengwa, who had no choice but to ask you to endure some pain and act with me. Another gunshot sounded. Back at headquarters, Wang Haifeng knelt on the ground, crying, "Big brother, you have to believe me. I was following your orders to catch the traitor when I saw this bald man putting this letter into the mailbox. He was almost caught, but thankfully this brother here took a bullet for me." With his superb acting and words, along with this letter, the gang leader had no choice but to believe his words. Afterwards, under the setting sun, Wang Haifeng held the bullet and said to him, "Consider this bullet I used to save you as an IOU from me to you." Wu Shengwa complained, "This is not right. If you owe me, then give me an IOU." After speaking, Wang Haifeng threw a lighter over. "Ha ha. Then I'll give you this one." Looking at the simple lighter in his hand, Wu Shengwa said disdainfully, "Who cares about this cheap lighter? This is a Zippo brand." From then on, this lighter accompanied Wu Shengwa all the time. Looking at the broken lighter in his hand, Wu Shengwa sighed. "And that's how we became good friends." Lin Fan looked at him with a face full of disdain, clearly expressing, "This is so gay." "Even though it's really too gay," Wu Shengwa angrily retorted. "Our friendship is pure." He couldn't help but exclaim, "What are young people thinking about all day nowadays?" Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the bamboo forest nearby. The two of them suddenly turned their heads. "Who's there?" Just then, a man suddenly emerged and pointed at the two of them, shouting loudly, "Quick! Catch them!" Following that, more than 10 strong men suddenly jumped out from the woods and rushed towards the two of them. Police officer Wu was outnumbered, and he was quickly subdued to the ground. Before he could even speak up to ask a question, that person stuffed his mouth with dirt. Seeing one person taken care of, the remaining people rushed towards Lin Fan. Lin Fan remained calm and composed. Just as these few individuals were about to pounce on him, several loud bangs rang out. Within moments, Lin Fan had already knocked these big guys flying. The leader and police officer Wu looked at this scene in disbelief. Lin Fan, after finishing the fight, didn't forget to strike a pose and show off. Seeing all his subordinates lying on the ground, the leader no longer paid attention to Wu Shengwa on the ground. He immediately pulled out the handgun from behind him, just as he was about to chamber a round to shoot. Wu Shengwa noticed the gun was very familiar, so he quickly spat out the dirt and leaves in his mouth and shouted, "Don't shoot. We are also police officers." The two people engaged in the fight looked at him in confusion. After Wu Shengwa explained the situation, the man picked up his phone and called Bureau Chief Wang to verify their identities. The misunderstanding was resolved. After a while, those people received the order approving Wu Shengwa's participation in the operation. Wu Shengwa thought to himself, "Old Wang is indeed a person who is tough on the outside but soft at heart." He was still quite grateful to him in his heart. The leading police officer explained that he thought they were drug traffickers. They arrived here in no time despite not contacting any authority. Back in the day, it took them a month to get here. At this point, Wu Shengwa had to introduce and attribute it all to this great expert. Wu Shengwa introduced Lin Fan to them. "He is my science advisor. Without him, I might have long been at a loss." The leading police officer nodded. This science advisor is indeed quite capable. At least much better than you, Mr. Wu. Can't accept it. Blaming others for launching a surprise attack. Beating people up is one thing, but making me eat dirt is crossing the line. The leader ignored it and turned to ask, "So you mean he's the one leading the way from now on?" Lin Fan nodded and said, "You'd better stick close and not run around. Be responsible for the consequences yourselves." Under Lin Fan's leadership, the group set off. It has to be said that this scientific consultant is indeed impressive. Leading them, they managed to avoid many traps along the way. As they walked, Lin Fan suddenly sensed something. "Shoo, don't speak." Someone. Everyone looked up and saw that ahead was the drug dealer's stronghold. The leading captain began to gesture, instructing his men to get ready to take action. The police officers all took their positions. The captain took out 2 bulletproof vests and handed one to each to Wu Zhenghua. After receiving the vest, Wu Zhenghua passed it to Lin Fan beside him. Lin Fan inexplicably said, "I feel like I won't get shot. Wearing it will only slow me down." Mr. Wu, already accustomed to such situations, did not insist that Lin Fan wear it. The captain commanded over the radio, "Everyone arm yourselves and put on your vests. Those without vests, stay on the perimeter. Start the operation in 10 minutes." Inside the drug dealer's village, the patrols were unaware of what was about to happen. After all the police officers took their positions, following the captain's order, they all charged forward. Considering Lin Fan and Wu Zhenghua were unequipped, the captain instructed them to wait there. Seeing Lin Fan's silence, Wu Zhenghua thought he was very unwilling. He patted his shoulder and comforted him. "I know you are very unwilling, thinking of Haifeng's revenge. I am more unwilling than you. But we are unequipped. Joining the battle won't help. The casualty rate for anti-drug police officers is the highest among all police. This job is very dangerous. All we can do is pray for them from behind." Lin Fan nodded. Bullets have no eyes. Although Lin Fan might dodge 1 or 2, he lacked confidence in facing a hail of bullets. Just as he finished speaking, there was movement in the village. The patrolling drug dealer saw the police behind him and was shocked. Although the police had already rushed forward to subdue him, he somehow managed to produce a grenade from somewhere, pulling the pin with a click. With a deafening roar. This commotion alarmed all the drug dealers in the stronghold. A fish that got away rushed over to inform the boss of the drug dealers. The big boss learned that a large number of heavily armed police officers had found them. The drug lord immediately ordered his men to get their weapons ready to fight them. "You 3 go south, and you go east. Make sure to hold your ground and defend it with your lives. Watching our brothers fighting outside, while the drug lord has no intention of helping. Brothers, if I can escape this disaster, I will surely seek revenge in the future." Seeing him make grand vows, then he turned and pushed open the box behind him. A staircase leading to the underground was revealed. Below the stairs was a pre-dug secret passage. He sneaked away from here. Gunshots and explosions filled the village. Lin Fan and the other person squatted in the distance, anxiously watching everything. At this moment, Lin Fan suddenly called out, "Brother Wu, we need to change our location." Wu Zhenghua looked puzzled. Lin Fan only uttered 2 words. "A feeling." After experiencing so many times, he also knew how accurate Lin Fan's feelings could be. They had just left when a loud explosion sounded right after. Only after Lin Fan and the others had relocated did the explosion occur. Wu Zhenghua, still skeptical, asked Lin Fan, "Are you sure hiding here is useful?" Lin Fan replied, "Yes, not only is it safe here, but good things are also happening." At this moment, the drug lord finally slipped out through the secret passage exit. "Trying to catch me? Maybe in the next life." Just as he thought he had escaped from death and happily pushed open the gate, outside the secret passage happened to be Lin Fan and the others who had just relocated. However, they did not notice him. Watching their backs, the drug lord could not distinguish whether the 2 of them were enemies or friends. Just then, a row of bullets swept over with a rapid pace. The three of them were startled at the same time. Lin Fan quickly grabbed Wu Zhenghua and dodged the bullets. The drug lord inside the cave was so scared that he rushed out at once. Looking at the bullet holes around him, Wu Zhenghua was startled. "Oh my, luckily I was pulled back and didn't move." He was about to praise Lin Fan for being awesome, but saw that Lin Fan had already turned around. Lin Fan faced off with the drug lord. With just a glance, the drug lord noticed Wu Zhenghua. "You are? I knew you weren't dead." The drug lord's wife immediately pulled out a gun and aimed it at him. Chi Amethyst stared in awe at the lithograph in front of him. As soon as the lithograph opened, Lin Fan showed off proudly, saying, "Impressive, right? I learned this by myself." She looked at her ridiculous appearance in front of her and found it somewhat amusing, Chi Amethyst surprisingly. "I received the secret code you gave me," Chi Amethyst said in confusion, wondering when she had given him the secret code. But she didn't expect it to be a gun. "Don't worry, with this thing in the exam, I will definitely ace it." At this moment, she suddenly realized that it was that gun. Surprisingly, she inadvertently found it for him. "By using this, maybe I can pass the exam." Lin Fan then mentioned, "Guess who I ran into when I came back? It was that pretentious jerk, Saint." "Unfortunately, I won't be using the gun this time. If you had taught me earlier, I would have shot him in one shot. I ended up firing blanks, scared the piss out of him. He stood there frozen, scared half to death by me. Ha ha ha, I really should have shown you how pathetic he looked." Listening to Lin Fan's vivid description, although Chi Amethyst still wanted to hear more of his boasting, she decided to try out the nail art she learned last time. She only called 2 waiting girls over to experiment. When Yukiana went to the market, she saw her maid chatting with Chi Amethyst's maid there. One of them is promoting the manicure service provided by Chi Amethyst to them. They saw the sparkling nails on her hands. Yukiana's handmaiden's face showed a jealous expression. "If only our senior sister were so talented." As soon as the words fell, Yukiana emerged from behind with a dark expression, angrily reprimanding, "I asked you to go out shopping, but you're slacking off here instead? Go back and eat the whip." Yukiana's little maid ran off after hearing her grievances. Qin Chung and Zhou Yining were left shivering in place as Yukiana called for them to lead the way to meet Chi Amethyst. She wanted to see what tricks Chi Amethyst was up to this time. Inside the courtyard, Chi Amethyst heard footsteps approaching. She thought that the maid had already bought the materials. When she turned her head, Yukiana was also among them. Well, there was an unexpected guest here. Yukiana immediately started criticizing Chi Amethyst upon arrival, hearing that junior sister is up to new tricks. Senior sister advised you to focus on cultivating, and not lose your ambition to play around. You said this. She showed off her nails, which were prettier than those of the maids. This is indeed a little trick, although it can improve one's luck. What? It can actually improve luck? Yukiana was even more excited. Chi Amethyst latched onto this point and immediately promoted it, saying to Yukiana, "If you are interested, I won't hesitate to share more." Upon hearing this, Yukiana promptly agreed and bought 100,000 spiritual stones at once, with a promotion of buy 10 get 1 free. Having been around Zhou Nana for a long time, Chi Amethyst has also become a profiteer. Seeing Yukiana shocked by the prices, Chi Amethyst quickly added, "This is a spell I created myself." If it's too cheap, wouldn't it be everywhere? Moreover, if such a novel and beautiful thing as the eldest senior sister cannot be owned first, wouldn't she be surpassed by the junior sisters? Upon hearing this, Yukiana immediately fell into the trap. I want it. Chi Amethyst blossomed with joy. I didn't expect the first deal to come so quickly. While they chatted, discussing what nail designs to do, a dazzling golden light soared into the sky in the distance, causing Chi Amethyst and Yukiana, who were still applying nail polish, to look surprised. They looked at the soaring golden light, coming from Saint's residence. Both of them knew what it meant. Saint had broken through. I immediately became unwilling and went up and kicked him away with one kick. Then I got up and continued with a horror stance punching attack. I made him vomit all the food he had eaten last year. Seeing him clutching his stomach and unable to get up after falling to the ground, I curiously asked, "Where did this little bastard come from? So rude, pulling out a gun as soon as we met." My good friend replied, "This is exactly the drug trafficker, boss. We are here to catch this time, Boss Long." Boss Long? He really doesn't have eyes to come to me. My good buddy glanced at the secret passage behind him. He thought he might be trying to slip away from there, but ended up running into us instead. Suddenly, I saw a bright light flash in his eyes. He turned around and exclaimed, "Awesome! So, this is what you meant by good news!" The police have already caught the drug dealer, but they found out that the most important leader has escaped. The captain remembered the secret passage just now. He thought that the leader had already escaped, so he immediately turned around to go catch him. Bro, I ran over with the captured person. Even the team leader was stunned, wondering how the person got caught by you guys. I explained. Bro, I randomly searched 2 places and ran into this guy. He was just unlucky. Boss Long looked at me with an unhappy face. Who the hell are you? Me? Just a passing science consultant. The scene returns to the immortal cultivation world, and I see the golden Chi Amethyst rising straight into the sky above the saint's mansion. I didn't expect that the saint would break through so quickly. Yukiana said that she has been isolating herself since the last time she fought with you. He is hiding at home and focusing on cultivation. I didn't expect him to break through so quickly. It's hard to imagine what you did to him. Chi Amethyst thought. Who knows what that guy Lin Fan did to him to make him so stimulated? I can't slack off like this anymore. I need to hurry back and cultivate. She turned around and walked away once she thought of this. Yukiana responded, Where are you going? I haven't finished doing my nails yet. Chi Amethyst stopped in her tracks, turned around, and said, Forget it. I'll earn back the money I lost from this big injustice first before cultivating. It's not too late. At the saint's mansion, the newly promoted saint was full of confidence and did not pay attention to anyone. Chi Amethyst was even more insignificant to him.